everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. It is Thursday. It is the last Thursday of the month. And you know what? I have not done a single Things We're Making Thursday video this month. Oh, I've done Thursday videos. I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I've done videos, but not the specific Things We're Making Thursday, which is absolutely crazy. The reason why is August is Granny Square month. You know, all of these squares that you have seen that I have made, right? Nowadays, all of these are called Granny Squares, right? All of these different things that are gorgeous. Why have I not made a specific Things We're Making Thursday video? Probably because I've shown you all these. I don't know. I'm making up excuses. I really don't know. So I was digging through another bag, you know, looking at some of the old things that I haven't touched in a while because, yeah, I moved on. I tried different things, right? And I found this. Oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that a beautiful little square? This is, yeah, like a little flower, and then I've added a bunch of baubles around it, and you know, and look, I got all my ends woven in, and this is big twist yarn. And let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Okay, there's 5 rounds here, and there's 5 rounds here. They're both big twist yarn. So this is a good exercise in gauge and needle sizes. Notice a big difference? This is a 5-inch square, this is not. But they both have 5 rounds on them. And you know, it's not like this has single crochet rounds. Those are all double crochet of some sort. So this H hook, this E hook. Yeah, I do believe that I used a size E. I wanted it firm. I wanted a solid, not super flexible, like this type of a square. And I mean, look at this. This has 5 also. So you're thinking, oh, well, no, it's because we made this one into like a flower with all the baubles. Well, this is a flower type thing. Doesn't have all the baubles, but you know, that's still 5 rounds. Look at the craziness of that. So it's an interesting one when you have people, different people who crochet, and you know, it's like, hey, here, I'll make a couple squares for you. I'll do whatever. Yeah, that's interesting with that. Hook size makes a difference. Sometimes people, you can use the same hook size, but you know, one person has that death grip, you know, they've had a day and they're taking it out on their yarn, you know, and they're just really super tight knitter or crocheters, you know, both, right? I'm not in that boat. I definitely wanted this to be tighter, but I wanted it to be tighter because I was planning on making a bag with them, you know, so I made a whole bunch of squares, and I did this like a year ago, and I got one full bag of them all put together. And I know I had enough of these to make a second bag, but I didn't finish sewing it. So my first one, look at this. These are all big twist value colors, every one of them, right? So I got all these different colors. I think this is fantastic. I really do. And you know, it is very sturdy. It's, as you can see, okay, so I've got some, oh, ho, 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 look what I found. Oh, that is fantastic. So I have some inside edges. It's been a while since I've seen this. I got my 2 squares. I'm not missing any. That's fantastic. So I sewed all the individual squares together, and this is where I was crocheting the squares together. That's the only ends that I have left, is where I crocheted those together. All right, so not too bad on the inside, but look how thick that is. Look how firm that's gonna be a nice bag. So I never finished this because I wanted to line it and didn't have a sewing machine. That's okay, don't feel sad. Sorry for me, don't send me a sewing machine. You know, didn't have a sewing machine. So I did buy one of those like kids style, maybe this much higher than a kid's sewing machine. Yeah, you know, just a little bit better. It could be in the toy section, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it does straight stitches. I've not taken out of the box. It's just like a little tiny thing, just tiny. That's all I want it for. I don't need a big one. I don't need anything fancy. I just want it to sew a straight line. a semi-straight line would work for me. I'm not gonna lie. So I do have some fabrics, and then, you know, I'm like, okay, I can cut that out and I can turn this into a bag. That was the whole goal. And yeah, so I finally bought the machine. I should have brought it up here. It's not that big, right? So I finally bought that. I haven't taken it out of the box. So once I take it out of the box, I can maybe do the liner and then put on some handles and stuff for this. But it is fantastic. I love that shape. So when you're making squares, it doesn't have to be blanket, it doesn't have to be anything else. Depending on how many squares you have, you can make a bag. And then there's a lot of different graphics. If I can find one of those graphics, I'll put a picture of it up. But I've got a lot of the different graphics that I pulled down from internet sites, this, that, everything else. Says, how many squares do you have? You know, it'll say, hey, for 12 squares, 13 squares, whatever, you can make this bag for whatever. Let's see, what is this? This one's 5, 10, 11, 12. I think this is 13. I think this is 13 squares. If you have 13 squares lying around because you planned on making a blanket and decided after you started, what the heck was I thinking? Because that happens sometimes. It does. You can make a bag, right? And they've got it, the schematics will show you like, okay, this is the 13 squares. What can you do with 17 squares? What can you do with 11 squares? You know, that type of a thing. The different shapes of bags and what it's going to look like. So I think that's really a lot of fun. So that's what I did with this, because I think I had something else in mind. I don't remember offhand. I was really proud of myself that I sewed in all my ends as I went though, which was cool. And then, okay, so I got, if you've been around for a while, you know that I don't have a problem making doubles of things. Singles, doubles, triples, it doesn't matter. But sometimes if I don't finish it right then, there's a chance it's not going to get done. It just, or at least not for an extended period of time. So I got this sewn together. It's just a matter of adding hardware to it, you know, straps of some sort, and lining it so it's more usable. Does it need to be lined? Not necessarily. I would prefer it to be lined if I were going to use it, right? But you know, not everything gets lined. We know that. So I had more squares. And then it's like, well, let me make a couple more so then I can make another bag. And this is my second bag. That's not a bag. It is two. It took me a few minutes, not gonna lie, before I turned the camera on to figure out what kind of origami shape thing this is. This is a bag. This is the same as this, minus 2 squares. Honest, it really is. I really did do it. I folded it right, and it does work that way. So why does it look so crazy? Because I'm weird. It's straight up, I am weird. So on this one, when I put it together, I have some of these, as you saw, those longer threads that are hanging. I believe that's where I was crocheting together, and I'm like, okay, well, I hit a corner, I'm at a dead end or whatever, got to cut my yarn and then start in another spot, right? Okay, that makes sense, because this is a lot of squares. Well, this is one continuous piece. All of this right now, yeah, there's one end of it, there's the other end of it. All this, I didn't have to cut my yarn for. I just went from block to block, and it made sense at the time. It did. I remember it did. So you fold it. Looks like a weird hat that needs help. I did it. I know I did. That's not it. That's cute. That's all folded together. That's not it. It happened. Honest. Yes. Really. Okay. I don't know how I had it, but it really, it's honest. It's a bag. This is a bag. It's this. It really is. This, they're the same. They're the same. I'm questioning my wisdom, and why did I not, when I knew what I was doing, sew these 2 squares on? Fine, extra ends, great. I put every end in on all these squares. Look at these. Each square has 5 rounds. Each square has 5 rounds with 5 different colors. That's 10 ends for each of these little squares. And I stopped at this. sometimes I question my logic. And looking at this, sometimes I question my sanity because I'm like, that's not a bag, but I swear to you, I did it. It's yes, it really was. Oh, I think I did it. All right, here we go. Okay. Ha ha! Oh, okay, flip up. So that's gonna need to be stitched right here. This is gonna need to be stitched here, and those two are by themselves, right? And then I turn it around, and oh, I did it. Okay. I know it doesn't look like it. Okay, there. See, there, and then I stitch this one in place here, and I stitch this one in place here. Holy cow! There, and then I will have 2 purses. Yes, that's it. Okay, I did it. See, there's logic. Wouldn't you like to be inside my brain? No. But yeah, and I'm so happy because I only had the 1 square. I didn't look inside the bag. The other one's like, I have them because I didn't want to go back and make another square. I'm not gonna lie. And then this would be just like this. And then I don't know what you do with it because you could. All right, so bear with me. So if we sew this down, okay. Oh. So I sew that down and I got the little flappies there. Okay, let's see. What does this look like? Well, I got a burr in my hair. That's okay. There we go. So you can sew that one down. You got the 2. Oh, okay. There we go. So if I did lose it, I could do that. And then I would do some fancy little pieces around, I would. And then I would try to convince a child to wear it. Not a joke. I would 100% do that. Oh yeah, that I would do in a heartbeat. Yes, because that's what adults get to do to kids, is we get to tease them and kind of like punk them and different things. Yeah, I would do that. But thankfully I have the other square. All right, so I'm good. I can make 2 bags now. Yeah, it's for granny squares, right? This is granny squares for things we're making Thursday. And I got it, and I did it, and I got bags. Would you use a bag like this? I had something that I did years ago out of cotton. And it was a cylindrical bag, so I had all my little squares. And I think that's what I was going with this. It really is. And then I changed my mind because that's what I do. But I had squares and everything, and I put it in a circle. And then I had one of those plastic canvas discs. You know how you can do that? So I had that as my stabilizer at the bottom. And so there's this tube. And I did do a hand sewn liner on that, and I put pockets inside. I don't know why, because I never used the pockets, but I had them in there because it was very fancy. And I had a drawstring strap with that. I made one for myself, and I made one for 2 of my friends, right? So I ended up making 3 of those all together. Those, I absolutely loved that. I carried that bag around me as a little project bag for quite some time. It embarrassed my daughter to no ends. Oh my goodness. So sometimes our children are embarrassed of us. I don't know why. We don't do weird things to embarrass our children. No, we don't. I might not have. No. So yeah. So it embarrassed my daughter forever and everything. And, I used that thing until, I don't know, I used it a lot. And I finally gave that up. I think at one of our moves, I finally gave that one up. But, I sent it off to let somebody else love on it. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I love the colors. I can't see myself using this as a purse just because I don't really carry purses too much. I mean, I do more now than I used to, but this I would want pockets in though. I would want pockets because of, where the phone goes, where the whatever, so I'd want something on the inside of a purse. But I think it's pretty cool. So let me know, would you make something like this, or would you use something? Would you buy something? Because crochet is really, really in, and granny squares are everywhere. So are you one that would buy a granny squared object if you saw it in a store or something like that? Do you have friends that would buy granny square type objects? Because that I could see somebody buying, and I could see that being loved. And I like making them, and I like doing things like that. But I don't always like keeping the things that I make. I don't have to. No, I don't have to keep everything. I can share it and I can send it out and let somebody else love on it. That's how that works. Yeah, wish me luck on this thing, because I know I went through that same because I've shown this before. I did when I first made all these pieces, and I'm just questioning my logic and my wisdom with this and why I didn't finish it. And well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see why I didn't finish it to some aspects, because yeah, it's weird, but on others, like, it's so close. I mean, it's really close. I do like the even though they're all squares, they're all the same squares, I like the rounded shape this gives. That I really like. I like that better than the square bag. I do like that rounded. And I like with the size like this, even if you put heavy things in, since I did use the size F crochet hook and I just made that extremely tight, very dense, that's what I was going for. I think that there's a lot of usability with something like this. Lining it would make it last longer with whomever ends up with it. It really would. I think that's the way I need to go with it. I'm closer. I am closer, because I know when I showed this before, I didn't have a sewing machine. Now I have a kid's toy sewing machine. Yeah, it's like a step up. It's like a $20 Amazon special kids toy thing. It doesn't say it's kids, but hello, it looks like a kid's sewing machine. It's plastic like a kid's sewing machine. You know, I mean, it's a $20 kids sewing machine. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. I just wanted to sew straight lines or semi-straight. I don't really care about that either. I just don't want to hand sew it, because anytime I have to do any sewing in the house, it's hand sewing, which is fine, but I just don't prefer to do that. You know, it would just be quicker to have something that can just sew a straight line, and I didn't feel like I needed a real sewing machine to do that, because I don't need to sew a straight line very often. Yeah. And I don't need a new hobby. No, I don't. I have enough hobbies. I buy yarn and I collect yarn. Oh, and if I'm not buying it, my husband is, because he's the biggest enabler I know. He's amazing. You know, so I buy yarn, I collect yarn, I've got patterns, I make things, I pretend like I make things. Sometimes I finish things. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's enough going on in my world. I don't need to do sewing. Although I do have a little bit of a stack of material, because it was really pretty. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. Us in the crafting world, we understand. We get things. I got a lot of yarn because it was pretty. I got a lot of beautiful patterns because I really wanted to see how they were written. I'm not going to lie. I read those like a novel, man. I'm telling you, front to back, up and down. I read those like a novel, you know, and I look at it and everything's like, ooh, plot twist. They did something stitched differently that I didn't expect. I read them like a novel. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does that. I've not had anyone in the comments tell me that they are like that. That's not to say there's not anyone who watches it's like that. They just haven't commented and told me. See, there's a difference, right? Yeah, that's how that works. Anyway, enjoy your Thursday. Make a square. It's Granny Square month. Do something creative and fun. Just know with your granny squares, you can go ahead, and it doesn't take a lot of granny squares to make something. So that blanket that you started with all sorts of great and good intentions, we've all done it. You can turn it into a few useful things. You really can. And if you've used a larger gauge like this, and it's stretchier and see-through, you'll definitely want to line it, because this will stretch when you put weight on it, right? That will definitely do that. These I made specifically, very specifically, that sounds really funny, very tight. I mean, you know, I'm tugging on that to pull. That's not going to pull out in the same way, pull out of shape in the same way as if you put weight on this and fill the bag like this. So if you do that, just line it, use them. That was your intention all along. 100%. You did not intend to make a king size blanket with these. You can, but you can pass that off from your friend. Were you planning on making a blanket? Oh no, I saw the granny square craze and I wanted to make some bags and I wanted to give them away for Christmas. So just take up those squares that you have and follow one of those schematics, and it's like, hey, I need 5, 7, 12 square, whatever it is, right? Hey, you know, you can do it. You could do a square bag with 8 squares, right? You could do that. Yeah, do that. You've got your story, you've got your permission, and then instead of having one incomplete project because you didn't make enough squares because you got sick of them, that's what happens, you take all of those squares and you turn them into things like this. And now, instead of one incomplete project, you have multiple finished project and you're a hero. Follow me for more advice. There you go. Just follow me for more advice. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I cracked me up. It's true, I cracked me up. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.